Welcome to the 9642 podcast. This is your host, Mr. Number 9.
And this is The Fool.
This is where me and The Fool give our
Unqualified and unrequested.
ramblings on the various issues in the world of sport.
Or something like that.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the podcast and Happy New Year and all that up stuff. We are here in this new year, out in a bang, and we're going to talk about the January window. We had a very, very eventful holiday break with loads of games, loads of interesting results, and the table is getting, while Liverpool I think look better and better for the title with every passing week, the fights for second, third and fourth are getting more and more interesting every week. So the January window, I think almost every club, it felt like was in a situation where they might need to buy a player. Obviously they can't all do it, so it's no surprise the team that hit the headlines at the moment are Manchester City and Chelsea. Manchester City have actually gotten in some players so far. They got Abdulkadir Kusanov from Lens, Pakistani international who's a full. So that's a position they definitely needed to cover. Also with rumors that Kyle Walker wanting to leave. Definitely due to that. And Vitor Reyes from Palmeiras moving in for 29 million. So these are two around 30 million transfers for defenders. And Manchester City need bodies in the defense. It's clear that people like John Stones are tired, and Kyle Walker as well. Because they used to have two or three deep all around their defense, but it's absolutely ravaged. So I can't. And everything else seems to kind of fallen into place. Like Pep seems to have identified that if I fix the defense, everything else will kind of. City looks terrible in their games. Like they look bad against United. And like not because United kind of got the result against Arsenal in the FA Cup and got the point against Liverpool in their game. But you know those two games, I think Liverpool could say they were. Unlucky. Sorry, no, they beat Liverpool 3-1. Liverpool, the 3-1 was Southampton. Liverpool was 2-1. And they basically, Liverpool probably played better. Arsenal definitely played better. And Southampton kind of played evenly, and then in the last 15 minutes we got the Amad Diallo show. But Manchester City actually were outplayed by Manchester United, which not many teams can say that. So they're gonna. So they definitely needed the players to come in, and it's just typical Pep being able to figure out what the solution is and just get the players in.
Exactly.
Chelsea's solution seems to be just recall a bunch of players from loan and see who we can buy. Chelsea clearly needed to have to buy a midfielder in the summer because they've covered their forward line quite well, but their midfield, like when Caicedo looked like he might get injured, you had to be a bit worried.
Like it's always a bit worried.
Caicedo is the least replaceable player in the Chelsea team. Like Cole Palmer is the best player, but Caicedo is the least replaceable.
Yes, I would agree with that. Like he's just holding things together at the moment, right?
And I guess Trevor Chalobah coming back from Crystal Palace, that'll be it. Though it's a situation, I feel bad for Trevor Chalobah because he thought he was going to sign for Chelsea, and then they loaned him out to Crystal Palace because he was not getting into the start, because he's not getting starts. And he's kind of like, they've kind of given him a contract which he's gone, this is not me. And he wants to go to a bigger club because he thinks he's that level of player. And he's played well at Crystal Palace, and then suddenly Chelsea, and I think Chelsea are kind of adamant that they still don't think he's good enough for Chelsea, but right now they need bodies.
He was originally a sort of lost in the shuffle, for lack of a better terminology with with all the players we did have. But obviously they feel like, actually, no, we need him back for the second half of the season and see how it goes.
Kind of reminds me of Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
Yeah. That he kind of was doing well at Chelsea. He couldn't push out Rudiger, and he was going to lose out on development years because he was in his 20s by then. And he moves to AC Milan. Chelsea win the Champions League, but he goes on to win Serie A with AC Milan the season after. Kind of like a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
Big. Yeah. It would be fair to say.
Yeah.
And the team, Chelsea, I think the fact that they've lost a few games, it's kind of reduced expectations from the fans. At the moment, the fans are probably like, as long as they get top 4, they don't want to rely on top 5.
Yeah. I think that would be fair. We've gone back to standard top 4 is required, as opposed to before it was like, for a while there it was like dream of chasing the title. But yeah, Christmas, New Year, and through January so far, since mid-December really hasn't been the best of times. It's about 4 or 5 weeks of not getting a win, so we ended up being 6 games without a win before we won again. So, but it is what it is. As you said at the start, the fun at the moment really is that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I guess. Liverpool's definitely out in front. Arsenal's and Nottingham Forest are keeping slightly ahead of us, and we're getting ahead of City and Newcastle and Bournemouth and Aston Villa, and they're chasing back. So,
the scary thing is Manchester City, for any team that wants to finish top 4.
Yeah.
They're the team you're all. Because if once they get into the mode, you're like, okay, we have to win every game. Because otherwise, City will catch up.
Which is probably one of the bigger problems with dropping those points through the last month. Really has been just not pulling away from them, or getting a buffer. Like there was a lot of points there that just went missing. Yeah,
and clearly, injuries have been an issue. Every club has had injuries. It's crazy because I think when we did our Christmas in December review, I thought as a Manchester United fan, we'd be lucky if we get any points. But then, they beat City, and then they lose their next 4 games. And then they beat Liverpool, and then they beat Arsenal. It's just like, okay. Part of me is just like, yeah, it's okay. We beat the 3 guys we want to beat every season.
Yeah.
Away from home as well. So can't complain about that.
Not really, no.
Even if we were to get relegated. I think the other club, which has not had any transfer dealings so far, but more look like the rumors are coming for who is going to leave the club. Manchester United announced as soon as the window opened that all their players except Amad Diallo, who is in the middle of signing his new contract, and people like Bruno Fernandes, who had just re-signed a new contract within the last 6 months. Everybody else is available for inquiries, and they're on the shop window if you are looking for a player like them. So immediately, Chelsea looking at players like Kobe Mainu. Can you imagine Kobe Mainu with Caicedo in the middle of your midfield?
Oh, that would be crazy, yeah.
It's crazy to me that Manchester United are putting players like Kobe Mainu and Garnacho on the shop window. These are your academy players, the guys who will, who are going to go all out, and they cost the least, they're the most cost efficient guys, but they're also the guys you get the most profit out of when you sell them. And I guess because it's a pure profit thing, everybody looking to sell youth players.
Yeah, especially with the PSA and stuff, right? It gives, you say it's pure profit, so they don't have there's no costs associated with it, so it can all goes on the books as pure profit. It just balances everything out and keeps, allows you to do all the other dealings you want to do. So makes some sense in that bit.
Yeah.
But as you say, it seems a bit weird, especially for United, sort of be just like anyone.
Yeah, and it's counter what I think as football fans we want. We don't want to see our academy guys who come through our, through our system to go on and become great players elsewhere, right? Manchester City is sitting there looking at Carlton Cole. You guys are sitting there looking at players like, Mohamed Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, and the like. And so for all these clubs, it's just like, especially like a Kobe Mainu, like he's English, he's under 20 still. Surely this is a guy you want to build your team around in the next, like him, Garnacho, and Diallo. They're the guys you want to build a team around, like that trifecta, and go from there. I can see Marcus Rashford. Okay, that kind of makes sense because it feels like his time is with United might be over, or anybody else like a Harry Maguire, even though he's played really well in the last few games, last month really, but he's in a position where they might want to try and recoup some of the value they paid in him. And even if they did manage to sell players to balance the books, there's no guarantee that they would not get relegated. So at the end, what would the point have been? The other club that everybody knows there's rumors about is Arsenal, the team that definitely needs goals.
Yes.
So everyone and their aunt knows that Arsenal have been keen on Victor Gyökeres for so long. And they tried to do Vlahovic, which it looks like Chelsea are gonna steal into that deal.
Mm-hmm.
And Arsenal are in the position where they're going, do we go with Victor Gyökeres, or do we bite the bullet and try and get Alexander Isak from Newcastle, because he is the best striker in the league, without a doubt. And I don't know, but Arsenal 100% need goals.
Yeah.
This is I don't know what the solution is, and like, is it worth it just even getting like how Manchester United would get like a single, half-year loan, someone like a Henrik Larsson to come in and like absolutely kill it.
Yeah.
This season.
Maybe it's worth the options. I guess it depends what they can find, right?
Yeah.
What they can actually get. So.
Yeah, what's available in the market obviously is a big thing. And interestingly enough, Liverpool so far have not had any players come in. Arne Slot has rotated his squad pretty well, and he's not needed to get in a huge bunch of players. He's mostly worked with what he had at Liverpool when he came in. I don't think Liverpool don't really do this middle transfer window much these days. Though I'm still surprised they wouldn't try and get some midfield reinforcements, given that's a position they tried to reinforce over the summer and it didn't quite work out. Like, tried to get Nico Williams.
Yeah. You would think they'd try again at something, but I guess they're just feeling it right now and feel like why shake things up, or be too open about it. Maybe just like not wanting to rock the boat. I don't know. Still, you'd think it could be something they'd be looking into.
Yeah. To round out the top four, Nottingham Forest got in a backup goalkeeper, Wayne Hennessy.
Yeah.
He's also the goalkeeper for Wales. He was on a free transfer. I think Nottingham Forest are already on the edge of PSR. They would need to sell players to get players, which I don't think they want to do.
Yeah.
Still in red hot form though, so I would I would expect they're okay. And, like, Nottingham Forest have a deep squad. They bought a bunch of players when they came up, and they've been doing reasonable business with their transfers.
Yeah.
In the last few windows. So we're seeing the results.
Yeah, as you say, for them it's about managing the outs to balance any new ins. So they got plenty of players, you say, got good players. They did good deals. So it's really just looking. Is there a weakness? Is there need something? Who can they swap out and bring someone in? But just about that management at the moment, right? They've clearly got a very good squad. I mean, you can't argue with it. So once again, only if there was needing for injury cover or replacement, or looking like people might not be quite be able to last the season. Otherwise, why change the winning formula?
It's one of those things, though. If you don't buy someone in January, you get an injury to a key player in early Feb. This is why I'd be like Chelsea. I would just get a midfielder.
Yeah.
To cover Caicedo.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the thing for Nottingham Forest as well, right? Is there anybody that is Caicedo levels of non-replaceable?
Yeah, I don't know. They're more a format like that. Like Nuno Espirito Santo has got the team playing a really interesting style. Like, it's almost like a new Catencio, except they run around a lot. Playing this really entertaining defensive style. Because they're so active, they're not a passive defensive team.
Yeah.
And they get goals from generating mistakes and set pieces, which, But what's interesting is watching what they do without the ball. They're like an entertaining team to watch on the counter, like on the press. So and like it's very like a very Nuno team, though it's sort of evolved a bit more from his Wolves teams. So I think Forest, they're not as reliant on what, though I think they would probably have wanted some defensive cover. I think you always want some defensive cover. Manchester United definitely needs players. We're not buying any, and they are unlikely to, given the PSR issues they're having and the fact that they're trying to offload players from their wage bill, as well as try and recover some PSR.
I mean, that's probably why we were saying before, that is the reason, right, that United's just particularly on, is to free up wage bill, free up PSR, and be able to buy new players in to cover their weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly.
So as opposed to being like, here's the people, just like, whoever we can replace, we'll be fine. Offers up, please.
Yeah. And to nobody's surprise at all, Spurs get a new goalkeeper. Definitely needed. Spurs are one of the poorest teams defensively, and also one of the poorest teams against set pieces. They are ridiculously injured. You can't really, it's not an issue you can solve in one transfer window. They will need to get in more players in the summer.
Yeah.
If only because they are literally running out of bodies.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I think Spurs, United are both trying to kind of break into the top 10. And hopefully try and win the Europa League if they can. Not that looks very likely at the moment. Everybody else, it's been more or less a pretty quiet window. I think a few things to note here. There, Brighton has bought in a player, Diego Gomez from Paraguay, from Inter Miami. So interesting. It's just that it's an $11 million thing for a midfielder. What are the odds we're going to see Brighton churn out? This guy is going to be a $50 million player bought by Chelsea next season or the season after.
May as well put that down as fact, really.
Yeah, that's such a Brighton move. Like an 11 million player from Brighton. We're just sitting there going, like, how good is this guy? He must be. Yeah. He must actually be really good.
Exactly.
Newcastle haven't gotten anyone in so far. Once again, it's tough because Eddie Howe likes a tight, small squad, but and now that Eddie Howe is definitely not going to be England manager, because Thomas Tuchel has that job till 2026 at least.
Yeah.
We know that Eddie Howe's going to be focused on Newcastle, so. And he, like Nuno, has the whole out of the ball form of his team down, so that they know if they're in the right places when they don't have the ball. When they get the ball, they'll also be easy. It's also easier to attack because you just have to one touch your way through. Because everybody should be in the right position, in theory. But yeah, no one else so far. Who would you think has had the... I don't think we can really give anybody a mark because not everybody needs players, right? It's not the summer window.
The summer window, and you say we've still got a little bit to go, so there's still a lot of sort of rumours circling about things, about 20 million related to Chelsea, which has just become standard over the last little bit. So yeah, it's a little bit about seeing where it all falls out at the moment, because there's still stuff to happen. You say everybody's been relatively quiet. We've gone over the main ones. Mostly, I say there seems to be a lot of recording from loans in this window. So maybe they will go back out again somewhere else. That is 6 months here, 6 months there, but. It seems to be a lot of people seem to have record their loans back, and maybe that's how they're dealing with things. Is like, loan players have had 6 months somewhere, but we'll bring them back and deal with them here. But I mean, most of them seem to be younger players brought back, so maybe they decided that they need to be somewhere else. We'll have to see, but there's not really a lot of actual transfers.
Yeah, and I think that'll probably be though I wouldn't rule out like a huge blockbuster trade and the last day Arsenal gets Victor Gyökeres, or Manchester United, Garnacho goes to Napoli or Chelsea, last, especially because it's involving Manchester United and they always seem to stuff up whatever financial deal they're trying to sort of get done.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't think there's much else to look at in terms of the transfers of the Premier League.
No, not at the moment. As I say, it's all pretty quiet for this window.
Yeah.
As I say, whilst there's been lots of rumours, well, not lots, but a few rumours on Chelsea, unlike previous seasons where we'd brought about 3 teams worth of players by now, even we've been reasonably quiet on it all, so...
Just a quick stroll over Europe. In La Liga, Real Madrid are still top of the table, 2 points ahead of Atletico. Barcelona, after that strong start, have fallen behind a bit, but I still think Barcelona look like the best team in Champions League.
Yeah.
And they could... I feel like they could still turn it around. With Hansi Flick. Atletico definitely doing really well. And Athletic Club on the same number of points as Barcelona. That'd be a very interesting top 4 should they make it through. Going all the way to Sant Mamés in Bilbao. Look, the relegation battle looks... The bottom 2 look very set in stone. Valencia look like they're heading straight back down.
Yeah.
With Valladolid, and then you've got Espanyol, Alaves, Getafe, all kind of struggling to avoid that relegation. They're deep in that relegation battle.
Yeah.
It's a thing with Spain. Like whenever the clubs are in Europe, you'll see Sevilla and Betis kind of become mid-table, and then Villarreal are not in Europe. They're going to push up, and they'll probably be doing well in Europe next year, and they'll push down the table again.
Yeah, they'll just be mid-table in the league, and then they'll be out, and they'll be able to concentrate on the league, and then they'll be higher up. So
next up, looking at Styria. Once again, the season looks like a banger. Styria, the 2020s has been Syria's decade so far. Like, every season's incredible. Napoli, top of the table, 50 points. It turns out Antonio Conte is a really good coach, guys.
Oh really? Yeah.
Look, don't expect him to last at Napoli. Alexander De Laurentiis, the owner of Napoli, who's a film director, ended up buying Napoli when they were in fourth tier, almost going bankrupt. And he slowly used his money to push them all the way up to where they are today. He's definitely not afraid to be out there and like very openly, seeks the publicity and isn't afraid to talk and like speak his mind and be who he is. And we all know what Antonio Conte is like, so at the moment things are going well at Naples, but we'll see how long that lasts. Second, we've got Inter Milan. They're well ahead on goal difference, 3 points behind, so they would kind of see themselves really as being in pole position.
They got a game in hand as well, so.
They have a game in hand, exactly. So, and with a huge goal difference advantage. Atalanta, after winning the Europa League last year, push out to third place and 43 points. And Lazio back in the top 4, 39, though they do have the old lady Juventus not far behind, chasing them and chasing their heels. Terrible season for AC Milan, doing terrible. In mid-table, like almost, look at that, almost 20 points behind Napoli at the top of the table. And Roma in a similar position. Both clubs going huge issues at the moment with their ownership. That's what happens when Americans buy your clubs, guys. Unfortunate.
It is unfortunate.
That is the way it is. But bottom of the table, we have Monza on 13 points, followed by Venezia on 15, and then Hellas, Lecce, Parma, and Empoli and Cagliari probably all kind of sitting there hoping to avoid. They're in that relegation battle. Maybe even Como on 22 points as well.
Yeah, I would still. That's only one game difference. I'd call them still within the battle.
Genoa's probably just about safe. Maybe.
Easy to get dragged back in, but I look at that and say you can suffer a loss and still probably be outside it. Like, they could lose to Verona and not be in the bottom 3, so I mean,
they are earlier on. They are a bit earlier on in the season, so that will there's going to be a bit tighter as this, earlier season's always a bit tighter at the beginning, right? The positions kind of cement themselves as time progresses. And finally, in the Bundesliga, Bundesliga, where are you? Here we go. Everything's back to normal. Bayern Munich top of the table after 18 games, 4 points ahead of Bayer Leverkusen, who are 5 points ahead of Eintracht Frankfurt. So there is definitely the two medical companies at the top of the league. Fighting for the title, and then you've got Eintracht Frankfurt, VfB Stuttgart in the top 4, and Leipzig not far behind. Borussia Dortmund is absolutely having a season to forget. They just lost to Bologna, and they they've had a terrible form in the Bundesliga itself. They're 25 points, or 20 points behind Bayern at the top of the table. So they're definitely not making it into the Champions League next season. They might not even make it to Europe.
No. They'll have a bit of a fight to get there. I mean, they are only 3 points off 6. That's Europe, so maybe, but yeah, that's a fight and a half, I think.
And like Borussia Dortmund are significant. Apart from Bayern, Borussia Dortmund are significantly wealthier and have invested the second most amount of money in German football of any team.
Yeah.
So in terms of their wage bill and transfers, so there's almost no excuse. Like, you don't necessarily expect them to be competing for first, second every season, but they should always be in the top 6 because they're significantly outspend other teams in the league.
Yes.
Looking on the other end of the table, already VfL Bochum look like they're getting straight down.
Yeah.
They're on 10 points after 18 games. Holstein Kiel, 11 points. And FC Heidenheim, 1846 on 14 points. But I think Hoffenheim and St. Pauli are both going to be sitting there, only 3 points ahead. Union Berlin probably are okay.
Yeah.
But they're probably also being a bit nervous.
Yeah. It's sort of okay for now, but don't
they have a bit
much.
of cushion.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a young season in Germany, right?
Yeah, it is
so
super young.
Exactly halfway through. It's exactly halfway through.
Yeah.
And this is the position they're in. There's only 18 more games left. I think it's definitely possible for Leverkusen to catch up to Bayern, because I don't think Bayern are a perfect team. Bayern, ironically, are becoming a bit like Spurs were with Harry Kane, very reliant on him.
Yeah.
But, if he's performing, then, that works as a strategy. Yeah. Relying on a good player and that good player doing well, that's a strategy as all this time, right?
Do we want to do a quick Mou-Watch? Mou-Watch.
So, Jose Mourinho is currently in Fenerbahce. Probably the team he should have been manager of his whole life. Jose launches a red wine called the Special One.
Is he?
And
he does too.
There's nothing else in the news. I can't imagine too.
Oh, but I thought we have some there, but no, it's all about the wine.
And there's some transfer rumors here and there.
He managed to get a 4th yellow card for the season.
Yeah, but that's not enough to watch. That's just that's normal most stuff.
Yeah, it's just normal Mourinho stuff.
He's already put out some all-timers though, right? This season, so he's not yet done anything. But we don't expect him to remain quiet. Let's look at the Turkish Superliga. The Galatasaray are top of the table, 6 points behind Fenerbahce.
Yeah.
I think Turkey only has the 2 spots, so maybe even just the 1 spot.
Just the 1 spot, Welks thinks. I think it's playoff, is it? 2 spots, but the second spot is qualifiers, not straight to groups. So top goes straight to group stage, second goes into qualifiers.
Right.
And then, then third goes Europa League qualifiers, and fourth goes to Conference League qualifiers.
Nice. But so Mo, first season at Finner, they've been playing reasonably well, but we all know it doesn't matter because they want to win the league. They want to outperform Galatasaray.
Yeah.
But expect Mo to put the pressure and start the mind games soon.
Yeah, they say they're 6 points behind. They've had the 2 losses, whilst Galatasaray hasn't had any losses this season. So yeah, I would imagine the mind games and the Mourinho chat to start increasing from here to really try and pull that back. I did see that the slightly surprising thing is third team Besiktas is down in 6th, so like that's normally they would be 3rd or 4th. So
yeah, generally, but Besiktas have always been the inconsistent one of the big three.
Yeah,
of Turkish football. Yeah, I think that's all we have time for today.
Yep.
Thank you very much for listening, and look forward to seeing you next time.
Catch you next time.
Well, that is the end. Thanks for listening all the way through.
If you liked what you heard, we have even more. NineSixFourTwo Discord and a Buy Me a Coffee.
Pretty sure it's Buy Me a Beer.
Oh yeah, buy me a beer on buymeacoffee.com.
In both these places, you can talk to us, and we may even listen, especially if you do buy a said beer or coffee. I might still be confused.
Yes, we're easily bribed. All links are in the show notes below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
This is on YouTube.